Good evening and welcome to Freedom is a Constant Struggle with your host Kilu Nyasha and engineer Arnell Valle. Tonight I'm pleased to introduce to you a dear friend and sister, Nadra Foster, also known as Your Brown Sister, Mama Nadra, and emcee Saquoyah Sankofa. She has been a committed programmer and producer or love warrior for over 15 years at Pacificas KPFA. In 1994, at 19 years old, she became the youngest person to be accepted to the 2-year apprenticeship. Active in community and global advancement, as a poet, political prisoner activist and journalist, holistic hip-hop MC, visual artist, and educator, Nadra has worked to keep disenfranchised communities inspired and involved in using media to heal and uplift themselves. On August 20th, 2008, in the studios of KPFA, a terrifying incident took place when over a dozen Berkeley police attacked Nadra with such extreme aggression she is still recovering from serious injuries. She is also fighting misdemeanor charges. To support Nadra and learn more about her case, you can contact globalelevationmovement at gmail.com. Welcome, Nadra, to Freedom is a Constant Struggle. It's such a pleasure to have you here in the studio.
It is such a pleasure and an adventure to be here this evening, Kilo.
Thank you.
So I'm so happy that we are here and we're able to speak some truth to power, and we came together this evening.
Yes, and speak truth to the people.
Yes. I can share that with you all.
Yes, let's talk about the incident that happened in Berkeley. First off, you've been...
this year is the 1-year anniversary in which, basically it's just a year past when these atrocities really took place with myself in KPFA, which has been, a place where I would consider like a home. So I will say that I've been there, as you stated, for a really long time, came there as a youth and has found my development there. And that day I had come just as usual, as a tradition with over 10 years of just doing my best to give what I could to help us all overstand and survive through these situations, which we all are struggling through. It's very, very hard for everyone, no matter what that looks like.
And you're also a mother, or you have 2 daughters.
I'm a mother to many. I have 2 daughters, and I call myself Mama Nadra, and actually I don't call myself that. People started calling me that, and I just accepted it. I mean, grown people, young people, because I've been teaching, and I just really love the children. Right. Every baby is my baby. Love them all, Korean, Chinese, Laotian, everybody, babies are just wonderful to me. So, in fact, that's what I was there that day to do, is to make a musical piece that would, expose the children, the youth in particular, teenagers, to the diverse, wonderful, funky, fly African music, because I felt that this American music is destroying the youth. And that was my interest at that time at KPFA, was to make specials that would focus on really healthy, really funky, really unknown music that is out there in the world. And instead, what happened was a woman who I knew to be an accountant came in and told me that I had to leave because she heard I made a phone call, which was very strange. Her name is Lois Weathers, and I only knew her to be an accountant. I did not know her to be someone who could have any authority to tell you to leave the station, let alone come with, like something. You can hear a manager or someone coming with some made-up rule, right, because they're the boss. But an accountant coming and telling you something you've never heard of. Like I said, I've been at KPFA for over a decade, and I've seen people get thrown at that station. But it wasn't like that. They really did make I saw when they, kind of ushered out freedom as a constant struggle. I was very young, like I said, I was 19, but I did see they made up a whole plan of, I didn't understand it then, but of actually getting out that revolutionary vanguard, and they're continuing that with myself, because I was following in you all's footsteps and just honoring the same way, and I see that that is actually extremely unpopular at KPFA. So I don't know if it was just jealousy, the devil, or what have you, but Lois decided that she was going to call the police on me. I can't really tell you her rationale. All I know, she told me she heard that someone said I was on the phone, and there was a policy that came up yesterday. You can't do that, so I had to leave the station. And she had Michael Yoshida there, which is, one of the head engineers, but he was looking at his feet. He looked very uncomfortable which let me know something was very wrong with the situation. So I said, let's speak to the manager. She told me the manager wasn't there. So at that point, I felt like, you're another employee with another employee dispute, and I'm just going to stop talking to you because this looks dangerous. So I told her, that's what I just told her, I'm not going to speak to you. You know, from there, somehow, she called the police. You know, and later I hear that the human resource director, Miss Dominga, okayed that. So the police come, and it's just two at first, and they're, you know, talking to one. It's a very regular thing. He said, you don't belong here. And due to, you know, legal facts, I can't tell you everything that happened, but I will say that I was sitting there at my desk speaking with them when I was body slammed. And from there, a melee ensued of Tarantino proportions. The director, you know, he makes crazy movies that are horrific. You know, they're really wild. And I would say that moment turned into really wild. There were the police from everywhere, and I couldn't understand where it went from me sitting at my desk to speaking to them saying, I work here. I don't know why you're calling, you know, why you guys are really, you know, here, to an actual life-threatening situation, which is what that became. I was hauled off to jail after being put into a hog tie, as they call it, which is something I've seen on one of those police shows, you know, where someone's on PCP or something, you know, and they're just naked and crazy. I was put in one of those constraints and taken to Santa Rita. I spent 4 days there where my family didn't know where I was, and police were configuring a story, basically. And so now at this point, my hand is paralyzed. It used to actually look like a stroke hand, what they call a claw, but due to some really good hand therapy I'm getting from Lisa at Oakland Hand Therapy, I love you, Lisa. She's really, really helped start healing me and practicing Chinese medicine. And I finally am getting some relief. But for this whole year, it's just been very agonizing. My hand, it felt like the claw of death just went to destroy this whole area of my body. And at first the doctor said they really couldn't explain it. They didn't know. It was a mystery. But later, you know, I'm finding that with actual compassionate medicine practice, you know, these things are not so mysterious. And at this point, I'm putting together, you know, just a healing process for myself and the community. Because, you know, it's very apparent that if that could happen to me, a long time, like a child basically who grew up in KPFA and raised my daughters there. Like I said, I have 2 young daughters who, they were like...
And I worked for KPFA for many years and used the phone. I never had a problem with using the phone, and I think everyone else used phones at KPFA as well.
Isn't that how you get interviews and check resources and network? And
that's
communication, right? Using the phone and radio is communication.
Just amazes me. But let's talk a little bit about